once again, welcome to Code with IJ. And I'm truly sorry that last week I was not able to make a video on tips from Pragmatic to Developer. So we are going to start from the last tip we stopped. So we stopped at tip 40, and today we're going to start with tip 41. Always design with concurrency, even if your present design model does not like put a workflow for it. Design always with asynchronous. Design always with the fact that design works with workflows. It works with processes. So there's gonna be from one point of junction to the another. So because if you don't design like that, and you don't design with flexibility, or you don't design with concurrency in mind, like processes, one part of the code, if something happens later in the future and the code has to be adjusted, then that whole system might break. So even if your program doesn't currently run multiple things at once, train processes or asynchronous tasks, you should design as if it's always one day going to be going from one point to the other, so that you have to think about performance level. That what if 50 tasks is being run one day on this particular service, or 50 processes is going to take place? How like what is the optimization time? How fast is it going to run? How slow? What are the bottlenecks? So always design with this kind of mindset. So tip 42 says separate views from model. It's going to look very very easy to just put all a chunk of one code in one place, put the business logic at maybe in another separate file, and immediately you are putting a view close to the business logic, or you put all of them together in one separate file. Then imagine like you now in 3 months time, they give you that same code and tell you something is broken. You have to do an IO inspect for so many things, and if your code is not being broken down or written in a very very good code manner, you're going to realize that you will struggle, not even debugging, you will struggle first of all in patterns, in trying to understand, or after this layer what comes next, before you even start debugging the issue. So most times separate views from models, separate business logic um from view. So there's going to be a context file that's going to contain your business logic. There's going to be another file that's going to contain your data structure, your data model. Then there's going to be another file that is going to contain your view that the your client are going to see about your website. So try to like divide all these things, even if you are running a full stack company where your backend is your front end developer, still always separate views from models. It's going to help you a lot in debugging. It's going to help you in understanding the context of how things change, and it's going to really really help you to be flexible. So use blackboard to coordinate workflow. What is this thing? Think of blackboard system as a shared workplace or a data structure where independent subsystem, agent, processes, or component post and read information to coordinate with each other without being tightly coupled. So last time in our tips we talk about not coupling function together. Learn to bisect things, learn to make things run independent. So today now we're trying to tell you that you can use a blackboard to coordinate your workflow. Imagine like before you start a work, you can get a piece of paper, draw a layout design of how this surface is going to run across the whole system from point A to point B, and when after then you can now sit down and start doing. So always do a design work. So a design work help you to have a mental picture of how that system is going to look like before you produce it, so you know what is being needed and what is not being needed, so you can filter things faster, and it help your work system. Because if you have a very good work system, before you start coding, everything is already arranged and everything is already flexible. So Elixir already does a lot of this for us. It's already gives you. That's why we have the dev environment, the prod, the test. So it gives you like opportunities to design, like opportunities to help you do things, do things simultaneously or do things independently. So you can use that same idea when you're designing a workflow. You can sit down and start drawing like, oh okay, this is going to be this particular workflow, these are the services that is going to be in this workflow, this is how these things are going to communicate and talk to each other. The blackboard is a shared data set, so it can be a Redix or everything. So imagine you are designing a fraud detection system. The blackboard right now is now the shared data set, e.g. your ETS or your Redis. Then the agent are different checkers, your transaction validation, your geolocation checker, or your behavior analysis, and each post results or findings to the blackboard. So each post goes to the blackboard. So when you coordinate things properly, you will be able to see how you're going to put data from point A to point B without each of them having issue reading data from each other. So that's a very very amazing thing to hear. Oh wow, so we're done with tip. Okay, so tip 44 says take out the trash. I know a lot of us, we have redundant code in our system. We have codes that needs cleanup, but we always postpone. Developers language is when it works, don't touch it. Like sometimes we don't really want to know how it works. We want to know, oh, it works, but no, that's a very very that's not really a very good practice. So try to know why it works, and because when you know why it works, you might realize that you wrote 52 lines of code, and the only thing that is working in that line of code is actually just 10, and the remaining 40 lines of code are just there being a nuisance in the system. So try to take out the trash. If you're a farmer and you have weeds and you have good crops, and you don't take out the weed, what happened? The weed would one day invest your whole farms, and you might not even be able to know, and out of anger you might just take out everything and you take out the good crops. So the same thing with your codes. If you have redundant code or codes that are not writing properly, or they're not playing a significant role in the system or helping the system grow, and you just leave everything there, within a very short period of time everywhere is just going to be a massacre, and you might just do a brutal killing of all your code, and that alone can lead to a lot of system going down. So please, like, take out unused code. They slow your system down, they even slow your functionality, they slow your productivity, because when something is crashing, most times it's that unused code that might be causing problems. But because you did take out the trash, a lot of us have commented code on our system. We have 300 codes we commented, then 10 is working. Why didn't you delete that commented code when you figure out, oh, this 10 piece of code could fix this functionality or the service that is breaking in the system? Why did you leave that code there? So learn to put a cleaning your code as a habit, because cleanliness is next to godliness. Yeah, so God loves a clean person. So the same way your code system should be clean. So tip 45 says don't draw false conclusion on your code. It's so easy to say, oh, I think I believe it's this code that is causing the problem. It looks too long. It looks garbage. It looks like this is what the problem is, and you didn't even find out. Then the next thing you go around, like, let me just say this story. I remember one time I was asked to fix a problem, and immediately I saw the problem. I was like, yeah, I think I know where this problem was coming from, and immediately I went to the system, and I just started commenting so many things, and I'm like, the next thing, so many things stopped working, and it hit me hard, and I'm like, oh my god, if you have just calmed down, run this code, try to take notice of where it's breaking, write it down. Okay, point A work, point B, that's where the breakage is. Go to your code to where that point B is. Inspect everything on that point B. Not try to find out the layer, the particular line of code that is breaking. Then you now try to see, why is this line of code breaking, or is it expecting an information from the other line of code? So because your code most times are a thread. You now imagine Imagine you are supposed to sew a clothes, you're stitching a clothes, and you miss a particular step and you sew the next step. You realize that that place you miss would have a hole over there. So that's just a bug. A bug is just a missing piece of something. It's just you missing a particular information, you missing a particular something that is supposed to be there. So there's a hole in your code, and all you just have to do is fill the hole or find out what you need to take out, because sometimes you might just have to take out something, sometimes you have to put in something. But don't take out or don't put in without finding. You have to investigate. Let's be a detective. Like, a detective does not just come and say here is a criminal. No, they go through layers of investigation. They try to put clues together, they try to map out idea. Have you ever watched a serial killer film? The serial killer doesn't just massacre, go to the person's house and start killing. He monitor the person's events, try to know, track down point A to point B. What does this person is doing? When does he leave the house? When does he go to work? It becomes a stalker, but a silent stalker, because the person does not even know they're being stalked until they're being killed. So it's just the same way. You're trying to take out something away from your code, or you're trying to find out why something is working. Don't why something is working or why something is not working. Don't ever make a false assumption of it. Settle down, calm down, listen to your code, work with the code. It's easy, and it's really really sweet. So thank you today for listening to tip from Pragmatic Developer. My name still remains Ijoma, and this is Code with Idea. Let's build smarter. Thank you. It's not about building faster, but it's not about building fast and everything breaks after after a while. It's about building smarter and everything lasts. So thank you so much.